Welcome to Top Shelf, where we seek truth,
opinion, perspective,
and we seek solutions.
Yes, and we are back once again.
back in
Top
effect.
Shelf,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Yo, we've been killing it this season. I must admit, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff on Netflix, but I don't think it ain't anything better than this. That's all I got to say.
I agree. Bang, bang.
You know, these conversations, man, they've been really keeping me grounded, been really helping my mental health a whole lot, just to be able to have a forum where I can talk to my brothers, you know.
That's what's up, man. Like I'm really feeling how season 3 is going. It's a lot of great conversation. Our IG live's been lit as well. We cannot forget that. Mm-hmm. That's been popping, man.
Yeah.
You know, we've been having some amazing guests, and I'm just looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah. So let's do our we always do the mental health check-in. Last time we had Terrence on, we did the how is your...
It's been an honor. It's gonna be an honor to pause you, friend.
Okay.
What happened to the good old prayer?
See, I'm forgetting. See, Anthony, I have sinned.
It was my honor to pause you.
Thank you. And with that, Anthony, you got me, I was on the road to Damascus. I don't know where I was at.
No,
Jeff, can you pray us in?
I got you, bro. Oh, man. I just thank you for just this energy that we bring every week, Lord God. And before everything, we praise you, Lord God. Thank you for the people around our village. Thank you for the married folks that are just striving, Lord God. Allow this conversation to be fruitful. Allow this conversation to be enlightenment. But most important, allow this conversation to be you and foremost. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I love how Fred said, Jeff, can you pray sin? And Anthony took over.
Anthony.
Oh, my fault. I thought you said me, bro. My fault, King.
No, it's all good.
My fault, Jeff. My fault.
As long as we got to pray in, that's the only thing that matters.
That's it. It just let me know how far Anthony is coming. Anthony said, I love to pray.
I think that fasting is working, man.
No, bro, man. I love it. I think I'm going to fast every Wednesday, though.
Yeah.
I think I want to continue it. But that's a different topic, different story.
Absolutely. You definitely should. It's a practice in the Christian faith, man. It's definitely a great practice, and it puts you back where you need to be.
Yes, it aligns you. Yeah,
it's a reminder so much, man. And last time with Terrence, I was saying before I forgot to pray. Who am I?
The girls didn't sugar.
We had a magnificent conversation with Terrence, and I asked last time, how is your walk? I want to ask that again, because we guys do the mental check-in. I was like, this week, fellas, how's your walk going with God?
For me, it's been amazing. It's just been a continuation of just really being extremely obedient to Him, just being faithful to Him. And one thing that I'm noticing even more as I continue to go in my walk and staying faithful in my walk with God is that He reveals certain things, right? And there's certain things that's been coming, I've been having these dreams. I won't really go into detail, but just these dreams that I know that there's something behind it, right? And some of these dreams, they seem to be kind of like a warning. And sometimes when God gives you a warning, He's just kind of just letting you know that, hey, this may take place if you're not careful with this. This may take place. If you may need to pray over this to prevent this from going. He kind of gives you a forewarning, right?
Absolutely.
And some of those things kind of just been happening, and it's not saying, for me at least, that I've been kind of doing things that I shouldn't be doing. It's really more in the sense I'm just understanding that God will use you in multiple ways.
Yeah,
He will. He can make you a dreamer, which I'm starting to see. That's what He's doing with me. And just making sure that I use this gift that he has given me to use it, for him and be responsible with it. So, my walk's been it's been really, really good, and I feel really more and more connected with God.
That's good. That's good. And what about you, Ant?
I think this walk in the last 4 days has been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Since I would say March, I've been asking God and God, what is my purpose? And I
Mm-hmm.
think from the Bible perspective, 33 was Jesus when Jesus really started to live out his purpose.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm at this moment 33, and it's like they will say that's just Jesus here.
Mm-hmm.
And I continue saying to me, God, like God, it's my Jesus here. Like, what's going on? Like, what's my purpose?
Yeah.
And this week I was able to have the opportunity to go upstate with like 12 to 14 kids. And they come from what we consider the hood. It was the most powerful thing because it was a different environment,
Yeah.
different space,
Mm-hmm.
fresh air,
Yeah.
and it was just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And to see them stem from Mr. Thompson, this is mad boring. Yo,
Mm-hmm.
big man, I'm not gonna lie, this was mad fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was just that tipping point where it's like, yo, this is my purpose.
Mm.
Allowing black and brown kids to see there's a different environment out there. And
Yeah.
it's okay to be different,
Yeah.
but excelling your difference.
Absolutely.
So
No, that's great.
this week has been very, very powerful for me. And like,
Mhm.
if you are listening, please keep me in prayer because where I'm about to go, I know I'm gonna need prayer. So please, please, if you out there in my village, please keep me in prayer. But while you keeping me in prayer, at this moment, make sure you subscribe to Top Shelf Podcast.
Most definitely. And Anthony said, where I'm going, I'm gonna need prayer. You going to the C train?
He must be going to East New York.
No,
Exactly.
I'm going where I want to break policies.
That's it. That's it. You gotta be a policy breaker.
So that's where I'm going.
That's it. I
What
I
about
hear
you, bro?
Anthony. I'm doing great, bro.
I love to hear
Like
that, bro.
honestly, bro. I feel like I've been in prayer a whole lot. Like my mornings are just starting with devotion, just being alone with God. Like since my wife is like working anyway, it's perfect because like I get to spend that time. Like if I want to go outside and go get a coffee, like I can go take that time and get along with God and you know write out the game plan and just dissect some things like that he's
Mhm.
working on in me. I'm looking forward to traveling this year so much.
Beautiful.
Like I literally, bro, like we didn't travel. Me and my wife, we didn't really travel last year as much. And a lot of last year was like focused on saving, thinking, moving, and doing all that. As our first year of marriage, and now going into our second year, it's about traveling and having an experience, and more so growing as a husband and wife. That's what I want this year to be about, and that's what she wants this year to be about. And yeah, bro, we looking forward to it to create more memories this year, and spend time with family, man. That's the biggest thing. Like I'm very much excited
Oh,
about going to my brother Jeff's uh, second time around. We doing this again.
why you going that route?
It's the after party.
No, yeah, it's the after
It's the
party. Then after the party, it's the after party, and then after the party, it's the hotel lobby.
It's going to be lit. It's going to be lit for those who are invited.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to
Those who
it, bro.
invited.
For those of us.
It's not a shot. I guess it came out as a shot, but it really was not a shot. It's just saying that for
Look,
those who
it
are
could have
invited.
been, fellas. Like, so we're talking. I just mentioned my brother Jeff, get his after party. Getting married and everything like that. So we all are married men.
Yes, sir.
And it's awesome, man. Marriage is unexplainable to be real. Like
Facts.
it's on another level. And the one thing I wanted to ask you guys, like, what was it like? What was that feeling like when you were going to propose to your wife? Like, what was that feeling? How would you describe it?
I would say I'll start off. So when I proposed to Joanna,
Mm-hmm.
it was, I wasn't nervous, but so my circumstances is it was it's a little different, right? Like this is my second marriage for those who are not aware. And I kind of, you want to make sure that, hey, that you're not going to repeat the same mistake that you made. Not saying my first marriage was a mistake, but just in the sense like
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to go through that. You get married and you get a divorce, right? So it's like, wow, am I really ready to be married again? And plus, I
Mm-hmm.
have a little girl, right? And just seeing how this is going to impact her, because it's not only about me. This is about my little girl as well, right? Is she going to accept, you know, Joanna as her stepmom? So what I did was like that was the part that was maybe a little nervous, even though I knew my daughter was cool with it. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of like the what if, right? Because you just
Yeah.
really never know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had I don't want to say butterflies, but because I did it in front of my daughter, and I just wanted to be perfect, because this is like
Yeah.
almost every girl's dream to get married and be proposed to. It's like a whole big thing. You're
Yeah.
supposed to, some want it like in front of a bunch of people, some want it private,
Right.
cameras, videography, all the above. And I kind of wanted to be more simple because the person I married is simple. I know she didn't really care for all that, and we already discussed that we wanted to get married. But
Mm-hmm.
again, this is like I'm doing it for my daughter, so she's seeing for the first time in her life somebody proposing, and she's looking at her father like her dad is proposing to somebody who's not her mom, her
Mm-hmm.
biological mom, rather.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So all those factors played a part on like making sure that she was included, my daughter per se, but making sure that she's comfortable, but also making sure that my fiance at the time felt special.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I felt more like trying to please everybody
Right.
at that moment. But the proposal happened. Of course, she said yes. My daughter, it hit her after the proposal,
Mm-hmm.
and so that part, if I'm honest and I'm being very transparent, it worried me a little bit because like it was like, wow, my dad is actually proposing, and he actually proposed. Like this is real, right? Because before then it was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, you should do it this way, you should do it that way, you know, all this stuff, right? But
Right.
reality kind of set in for her.
Mm-hmm.
But it only really set in for at least 15, 20 minutes because I remember we was just driving home.
Got it.
And after that, she was just like, yo, it is what it is. And after we stopped at a park, because I proposed to her in Orlando, and went to like this park, because this was during the holiday season, Thanksgiving to be exact. They already had Christmas stuff up or whatever. We went over there, and Gabby was just like running around playing and like taking pictures of Joanna and just like super happy and excited. So like that was like a big sign of relief
Mm-hmm.
because it let me know like though she needed a moment, she didn't need a long moment. It was like, okay, it is, this is gonna be my new stepmom. Let me embrace it. As long as like I feel like I'm included in this and I'm not excluded, I'm good.
Right. And Jeff, question. What, like, how was that with having your daughter actually be at the proposal as opposed to like when you were married before? Like your daughter, of course, wasn't there, and she couldn't like see it visually. Like you see a piece of yourself acknowledging like the fact that you're making this huge step.
Yeah, it was I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna lie, like it was I don't want to say scary. It was just more like, you just want things to be perfect. You want to be able to please everyone in that moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to make sure your daughter's comfortable. You want to make sure she's happy. You want to make sure that she's going to be accepting of this. And obviously, the person that you're proposing to, you want her to feel this is her time, this is her moment,
Right.
right? Because she's been waiting for this. It's something that she's been wanting since she was a little girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just those factors. And then like me being married before, my daughter, it wasn't like my daughter was born before my first marriage. She was born afterwards. Like my first marriage, we got married back in '09, and we had like I proposed and all that stuff. I proposed for my family actually with that one in particular, and then like we got married a year later, and then maybe like almost 2 years later or a year and a half later, my daughter was born.
Mm.
Right, so it's not like she got a chance to see that. So all she knew up until me and her mom had separated
Yeah.
was just mommy and daddy, a two-parent household. Then we separate, we get a divorce, my daughter moves to a whole other state. I've talked about this before.
Yeah.
So because of that, it's like it's a little bit more sensitive to me, and I'm a little bit more sensitive even to my daughter, to make sure like, hey, though she's already embraced Joanna, though she loves Joanna, and like she's happy that I'm with her, this is a whole nother step, because I'm doing this again. So I'm thinking about that piece. Then I'm
Right.
thinking about the piece of my daughter feeling like she is part of this family, that her dad did not just move on and she's going to be neglected. That no, you're very much included. And that's why I wanted her to be included in the proposal, because I felt that with her feeling that she's being included into this,
Uh-huh.
that she feels part of this family, because she is part of this family. She still is more at the end of the day. She's still my daughter at the end of the day. Nothing changes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's a side conversation I had with her even prior and even afterwards. And Joanna did the same thing.
Right.
And that's something that I really, really appreciated. So, I hope that answers the question that
Yeah,
you
it did.
asked. But yeah, it's just all these different emotions that was running through.
And Anthony, let me ask you, like, how did you feel like when it like what was that feeling when you proposed to your wife?
It was beautiful. I don't know if I ever told you guys, but this was my second time proposing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Not to Janelle, but to somebody else. And that did not work. But the first one, it was funny. When I thought about the question and I thought about how Jeff was talking, I was like, the first one, I was way nervous. I didn't think I was ready. I didn't think I was supposed to do it, but I think I was scared. I think I was scared because of what people would have thought. I think I was scared of what the church would have thought. It was like all this mixture.
Mm-hmm.
There was love at that moment, but
Mhm.
there were so many factors.
Yeah.
My second time around, when I proposed, I was at peace.
Mm.
I
I
love
just
it.
want to tell the person in the back of the class that just came to the front of the class,
Mm-hmm.
I was at peace.
Yep.
The sun rised at the most perfect time. We
Mm-hmm.
did it near the waterfall. We did it around family. I
Casanova.
did a whole a viral moment.
You gave the Thompson experience.
I gave her the ultimate Thompson experience.
I love it. I love it.
And when I looked at her, I saw my world.
Mm-hmm.
I saw my kids. I saw life. And someone turned to me. I remember someone turned to me like, yo, bro, you not nervous? Now I'm at peace. I'm literally at peace. So I know this is what I'm supposed to do, because I went to therapy. I made sure I wasn't going crazy. We did what we needed to do.
Right. Right.
We
No.
did what we needed to do. So we built that foundation.
Love
That's
it.
dope.
So that's why I knew I was in peace.
Right.
So what
Right.
about you, King?
I think for me, it was a mixture of like fear. It was a mixture of kind of like uncertainty.
Oh, thank you for being
And
honest.
yeah, it was fear, uncertainty, with feelings of joy as well. Because there was a lot of things that were coming together, but then there was other uncertain parts of it, kind of like at the time I can say we weren't in the best area. You know what I'm saying? We weren't in the best area. And I was just like, I did a whole lot of praying when I went back home. I did a whole lot of praying and a little bit of fasting too, man. Like I took a whole lot of walks by myself. I did I went to church with my sister. Like I talked to her, like we prayed together, and God really opened up a lot for me. And just spending time with my family, it really opened up a lot for me. Even talking to you, I had a conversation with you, and it really just really affected me a whole lot. And I was thinking to myself, like, I had did all this planning, secret planning up until this point, and I was just like, yo, I love this woman with everything I am. Like I want her to be a part of my family, you know? And when I saw her and when we went to get her at the airport and we got her and everything like that, I was just like, wow, man, like if I could wake up next to that every day, like I'm good, you know? I'm good in just everything she is and how she is with my family, how she is with my mom, and just it was just all of those parts, everything, all things work together. And when I proposed, I was that day they was like, the weather, it's gonna rain, and because I wanted to do it outside, and I did on this bridge in Kansas City, and then like you, Ant, the sun came out brighter than ever before. I was like, praise God.
I felt like it was a confirmation.
Yeah, it was, bro. Because that day they was like, it's gonna rain real hard. I was like, yo, I wish I could have took like a screenshot of like what the weather was gonna be. But anyway, long story short, I was so happy at the way it turned out because I got to do it in front of my mother, my sisters, my goddaughter, and my nephews, and that means a lot because you know marriage doesn't, you know, there's not a lot of marriages in my family, so it was just like breaking chains, and you know the enemy was really really mad, and it was so great because another part of that confirmation was out of nowhere. People just start showing up, start gathering around, random people. Yep. And then like when I did it, they were like saluting me and clapping it up, and I was like, that's just another confirmation. Thank you, God. And it was just great, man. After that, the feeling after that, and then the planning started, you know. But I mean, that's just, you know, being honest. Like, it's so funny to me. Like, a lot of women will ask, fellas, they'll ask us to be like, why was you nervous? Why was you nervous? What you mean? Like,
you don't want to hear no.
Like, y'all ain't getting on the knee.
Thank you. I don't think women realize the amount of pressure that comes along with proposing.
Exactly. It's so much. It really is. Like, people like, it ain't nothing. You can just do it. I'm like, no, it is something because there's planning that goes into it. There was so much secrecy, so many secrets, and so many lies I had to tell so that I could be able to plan this joint. And then, like, your family can't hold water, so I can't tell nobody over there. And then, and then I'm just like, I had to keep it to myself and God. Like,
it's to hold the water for me.
Man, like, I just have to be careful.
Respectfully,
I'm telling you, if I tell what is to be the sisters, she gonna know it by the end of the day. Just know
that's a fact.
Yeah,
I remember I had to do the same thing. I had to keep everything like a secret. I think the only person that I told that I bought a ring was you guys. That was it.
Yeah,
it was you guys and JoJo, because JoJo I was able to trust JoJo. Shout out to JoJo.
Yeah, JoJo is clutch.
Yeah, she's very much clutch.
Let me tell y'all something. So let me ask y'all fellas. So, Anthony, you've been married how long now? You about to go on 3 years?
Bro, 3 years, bro. That's crazy.
Tree of this thing.
Tree.
And I'm going on 2 years. Jeff, you got how many months in the game now?
4 months.
4 months in the game now. Okay,
yeah, 4 months for this marriage. My first marriage was 7 years.
7 years. Whew, Jesus.
Facts.
Oh man. I had a joke, but I ain't gonna tell it.
I know where you're going.
you know
you can tell the joke. Listen, I won't get
Jeff, I'll tell you offline.
Yeah, in the group chat.
Okay, but let me ask you guys. We talked about proposals and we talked about feelings and stuff like that. The question I have is, does marriage make you happy or content? Do you feel it makes you happy or content?
You know, and I start off, when I heard the question, so I'm thinking about now. My first, my second, and my third year, because that's the only thing I know.
Okay.
I'm happy. Yes, there's seasons of content, but overall, I'm happy.
Right.
But then I asked myself this other question, because I don't know yet, because I haven't gotten there yet. But what does 40 years look like? When people stand up in weddings and they're like, Yo, shout out to the 10 years, shout out to the 20 years. And in my head, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
when you get to that 20 years, does it become like a whole system? Like, yes, that's your wife, you love her to death.
Yeah.
But it's like, what's 20 years look like? So
that's deep.
I was really contemplating, because do you become content? I don't know if it's content after 20 years, but I think it's more, that's my wife and that's my life. So it's just like,
Right.
it doesn't become content no more. Just, that's your wife.
So when I looked it up, Anthony, happiness is defined as like a feeling of showing pleasure and contentment, right?
Yeah.
And then being content is a state of satisfaction, or it's defined as peaceful happiness. So it's so funny that they're interchangeable. Like happiness is defined as contentment, and then contentment is defined as happiness. But then again, it's like, if you think about it, like if we think about a biblical contentment, that's a whole different thing. Like
so maybe I got it wrong. So hear me out. So when I looked at content, and I said to myself, like, I felt like content was bad.
Oh,
from my thought. So before the definition you gave to me, I thought content was like, I guess I'm married now, so now I just gotta figure it out. And it's like now I just gotta figure it out. Like, I don't know what tomorrow's gonna look like, but like, okay. And then you just become content. Like, you come home at 5, you see your wife, you say hi, and then that system, that you become that system, that normal system.
No,
so it's like, so that's what made me think. But so that's why I say, like, the happiness is now the definition you just gave. So that's crazy.
Right, Anthony. You know what I think it is? People confuse this. Like, you know that meet me at the altar in your way.
Correct.
Yeah. But then the next part of that is, we ain't getting no younger, so we might as well. But we ain't getting no younger, right? So I think people confuse contentment for settling.
That's what right there, that's what I thought contentment was. It's like, yo, and then it triggered me, because I said to myself, like, I'm not no nigga you were gonna content with. Like then you become ignorant, because like, yo, you're not gonna content with me. Like, yo, I'm always first. I'm first in everything I do. I'm an alpha male. So like, yo, if you want content, you better go content somewhere else.
Anthony said, I don't want to be no might as well nigga. Like,
Anthony's saying this while hoping Janelle doesn't hear what he just said.
No, nah. I'm being transparent. Janelle can't hear it, because like, yo, we had conversations like this, because that's how I was feeling. Like, yo, wait, this don't feel right. Like, because like the song you were saying, like, you're so programmed to think marriage supposed to look like this, and then when it doesn't, you start to feel like, hey, am I just content? But but definitely, this is, and I think this is conversation where married men need to have. Because you just like literally blew my mind. Like, that's definitely on. This is Google. But I went around thinking content was bad.
I mean, with content, it's it just depends, because it depends on how you define or how you use the word content. Like, somebody can be content with their job, which means they're satisfied with their job, right? They're happy with their job, but they can, in hindsight, that can mean that they may not want something better, or they may not want to progress, because they're just content, they're satisfied, they're happy, they're okay with where they're at. As far as with a marriage, being happy and being content, this is where what Fred was saying, and I agree, it's interchangeable. You're happy and you're content with your marriage. But I think the key thing with this, or with that rather, is that not to so much focus on the word content. Not only just with happiness, because are you looking at your own happiness or the happiness of your spouse, or together? Because you could think you're happy, but your spouse could be unhappy. And those are some of the problems that I think that sometimes happens when there's not communication, or if you feel like you're content. Like, I'm content of being home and not always going out on dates. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? A married man or a married woman could have that type of mentality. I'm
Right.
content, you know what I'm saying, with us just being not having kids. You know what I'm saying? But she may feel differently.
Yeah.
So I think there is. I don't want
I
to say there's like a blur line.
mhm.
I think like one of the key things and one of the successful things with marriage is like what you're saying, Fred, not Fred, Anthony, when you mentioned like those marriages that lasts 20, 30, 40 years. I think you should always try to treat your marriage every day, treat it like it's the first day. And what I mean the first day,
Correct.
the excitement of it, the joy of it. Because
Hmm.
it is easy. It is
Correct.
easy to be
Correct.
content with just the way it is. And then
Right.
sometimes when you're content with just the way it is,
Uh-huh.
it may stop growing after a while. You may
Come
stop
on.
watering it after
Come
a
on.
while because you're content with just what it is. Your marriage should always elevate. Your marriage should
Yeah.
always grow. But you
Yeah.
guys should always blossom with each other because think about it. We evolve every single day. You know what I'm saying? We're
Yeah.
always learning something new
Come on,
every
Jeff. Preach.
single day about ourselves. Now, just imagine about your spouse. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And so
Yep.
it's always trying to find new, ways to
New
really
and
like
improved.
Right.
excitement and joy into your marriage. Is it easy? No. You know what I'm saying? Is it something where it's like you could just do just like that? No. I think you got to be very
Right.
intentional of really, really pushing your marriage forward. So you're gonna
Yeah.
be very, very happy. You're
Yeah.
gonna be more content of with the happiness and the joy that you're bringing
Yeah.
to your marriage.
And
I was gonna say too, Jeff, to add to what you're saying. I kept getting I love the point you made about watering it. And I was like, treat your marriage like not only it's the first day, but I would say treat your marriage like a flower. Like give the flower everything it needs to grow.
Word up.
Like to
yep.
make sure it has sunlight, to make sure it has the fertilizer that it needs, to make sure it's in the right environment that it needs to be in,
Yeah.
to be able to grow, to have
Yeah.
all the things that it needs. I
And
also wanted to mention as well that like I was talking to my wife about this the other day. Like I don't believe that friendships too, like along the same line is like I don't believe friendships should be maintained. I think they should blossom. They should be
Correct.
blossomed. Reason, and this is what I'm saying. Hear me out. Is like I don't. If you're working to try to maintain a friendship, then it's always going to be somebody doing more than another person.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you are just letting it blossom over time, and you're just like, and you guys are just, following the flow of it, and you're just doing like, you know, you're doing your part, they're doing their part, whatever that is, and whatever that means, and because there's nobody sets the ground rules and be like, okay, you are wife and I am husband. That's a known.
yeah.
That's a known.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to just blossom. But if you don't do any work, then your flower will die.
Yeah. And wow, that was so powerful, bro.
Mhm.
And I think one thing I thought about with the flower perspective of flower analogy,
Yeah.
I remember my dad, every every season he had to change the seed. Every
Mm.
season he had to change the seed so it can grow in the winter.
Really great.
Sorry, it could grow in the summer.
Really
So he
great.
prepared in the winter,
Hmm.
prepared in the winter,
Hmm.
prepared in the winter for it to grow in the summer. So if
Absolutely.
you think about it from a monthly perspective,
Right.
it's about at least 90 days to 100 days to prepare for the summer.
Yeah.
So I think about that from a marriage perspective. It's like you sometimes have to do an audit or take out the bad seed in your marriage.
Hmm.
That means you have to just go away, just you and your wife, or you or your husband, just go away. That's another thing that I thought about this week was like, yo, I had time for myself. I listened to myself.
Yes.
And that point is like, I asked God, how can I be a better husband? How can I be a better husband to my wife? And when you begin to ask God, God will show you,
Yeah.
literally show you the blueprint. So I also think that take up the bad seed, and I think that's how you get to those 25 years. That's how you get to 37 years because you're in communication is number one.
Absolutely. I
So
definitely
I
agree.
have a question to add on to your point, Anthony. Because I love how you said that you have to sometimes do an audit of yourself, right?
yeah.
What is one area that you feel in your marriage? Two questions actually. What is one area in your marriage that you've learned from about yourself? And the other question I have is, what's one area that you feel like you need to improve about yourself in your marriage?
So I think I'm gonna go back again to this conversation in regards to this week. Because old heads are different. Like when you talk to old heads, like 50, 70, they just have mad experience. And I just was chopping it up with some old heads.
Right.
And it talked about time.
Yeah.
Time is the only thing that they have at this moment.
Right.
Because I'm talking to people that's like 60, 70. They
Mm-hmm.
said enjoy the time.
Right.
I think that's one thing I could work on is enjoying the time because for me, I always have an itinerary. I have all these things, but just enjoying the moment with my wife.
Mm,
I think that's one thing I can work on.
I like that.
What was the second question, bro?
What's one thing that you learn about yourself during your
Oh,
marriage?
patience. Jesus Christ, patience. But yo, patience.
Anthony said I might as well be a
Yo,
bellhop.
I told Jeff one day, I was like, oh no, I think I was talking to Pastor Nate, and I was like, yo, why am I waiting outside for 20 minutes? And he always said, like, your mom had to wait for you, so now you gotta wait for your wife. I was like, what kind of pastor analogy is this?
I didn't want
No,
this.
yeah, but I think I give that analogy, but the patience and everything that we do, patience in regards of our finance, patience in regards of our spiritual walk, patience in regards of everything we do is like, because I want to see it, but then it's like you don't realize that when you do that, you have it in control. You try to control everything, and then life,
Mm,
one thing you can't do is control everything.
That's a
Because
fact.
like the seed can't grow into a tree the next day. That's some Elon Musk kind of scientific stuff going on. But if it's dealing with God, that takes a long time.
right.
So that's why I said patience. And it looks beautiful because it's like, oh, 6 months before we used to argue about this, but now, damn, look at us now.
Yeah.
Laughing, having a conversation because the tree now is growing inside of you. So when y'all come together, it's like a strong bark. And it's like it can't be broken because we took the time
Yeah.
to fix it,
Yeah.
to
Mm-hmm.
nourish it. So, and I'm doing this purposefully in regards of repeating myself to our listeners because sometimes you hear it, but I need you to hear it one more time because we pass it. But that's what I think I'll learn again is that patient is to be able to
Yeah.
listen to understand, not listen to defend.
Mm,
So
How about you,
good.
Fred?
So the first question is, what have I learned about myself? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What have I learned about myself? That is not about me. That is not about me. Marriage is about being selfless, man. It's not about like, because I always like, I ain't gonna lie, when I first came in, it was like, I'm like, but I feel this way and this, that, and the third. And it's just like, yeah, but you got to understand there's another side of that. It's me putting myself in her shoes and seeing how she feels and tuning into that as well. Like, and it's always a thing of like, a lot of people be like, well, we arguing or we having these strong debates and all this stuff, and it's like, in all reality, me and my wife are a team. It's us against this
facts,
problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's us against this issue. Like, let's tackle this issue. And that's what I mean when it's not about me. It's about the team. Like,
facts.
when I proposed to my wife, I said to her, and I quote, like, that I want you to join my team. And I all teammates, and since you're going to be my teammate for life, I need to give you this championship ring.
Mm,
So basically, um, you know, it was a commitment that I made, a vow, and I have to honor that. And what does that mean? Translation, that's doing the work. And I gotta repeat that one more time for the people in the back. Translation, what does that mean? That's doing the work, that is doing the work. So I think
Jeff.
the other
Oh.
question slips my mind. What was the other question, Jeff?
What's one area that you feel that you can improve on?
One area I definitely can improve on, I would say definitely. I would have said a year ago, I would have said listening, but I am a beast now. I am a beast. I'm a whole lot better in that. And I would say one area I could really improve in is basically, uh, dang, this is I could say more so planning more dates. Definitely planning more dates. I can definitely say that because I feel like I've slowed down a little bit since we've moved. And I just need to take more initiative with planning more dates and being intentional in that area. Because when we moved, yo, son, I don't want to go outside. I was like, we got the place we need. I don't need to go outside no more. Work is at home. I'm at home. I don't need to go outside no more.
And PS4 is there too.
Son, I don't need to do nothing. My bike is there too. Like I'm like, I don't need to go out. But then, wifey was like, yo, I want to go out. And I'm like, you sure? We got everything here. And she reassured me. She was just like, no, we need for us. It's bigger. It's bigger than just like, and she's seen when we've gone out, like how she feels, and like it's because it's more to them. It's dressing up. It's being at the place. It's eating food. For us, it's just like, okay, let's go out and spend money.
No, it's not for me. I like going out.
Yeah. Anthony, I like traveling. I like going out when it's traveling. Here, I done seen everything in New York. Like, I don't feel like I done seen everything in New York already. I done did everything in New York, whatever. But the same question to you, Jeff.
So for me, one of the things that I learned about myself with this marriage, I would say, is patience. I realized that I'm not as patient as I thought I was. And marriage will test. I think that's like a common thing. A lot of us, not only as men but as women, that we tend to realize like you need a lot of patience. Like it says in First Corinthians, your love is patient, right? So you have to have a high level of patience and understand that this person may not be on the same time schedule as you when it comes to certain things, or you want to be slow to anger when it comes to certain things. Like all that drives with patience. If you're a patient person, then you're not going to allow things to affect you or take things as personal, right? Because you're going to be more quick to, like what Anthony was saying, to listen, to understand, but not like listen to defend, right? And get defensive about certain things. So that's one of the things that for me that I realized that during this marriage, um, during my marriage rather, the first 4 months at least, is that it's patience. Patience is something that I'm learning about myself and really working on, which can also be the things that I feel like I need to improve on as well regarding my marriage. But I would include dating as well, because dating is not, you want to date your spouse, right?
Absolutely.
I think sometimes we forget that just because we're married now that the dating life stops. And what I mean,
Right.
dating doesn't necessarily have to be about going out. Like that's not the only form of dating. Dating could be planning a romantic dinner at home, a movie night at home, spending quality time with you and your partner. Just think about when you were dating that person, when you were courting that person, right? You would plan stuff, but it didn't always have to be at the movies. It didn't always have to be, you know what I'm saying, at some 5-star restaurant. You know what I'm saying? It can be something as simple as, yo, let's go for a walk. And that's one thing I love about my wife. Like she likes the simple things. For her, just going, spending time with me, like going out for a walk, for her, that's dating for her because it's just us and we're spending time, not being locked inside the house. And I know within the last year or so, COVID has affected a lot of dating life, like as far as people going out to dates and doing certain things because there's some hesitancy, there's that fear. For a while, certain things was limited. Now everything is kind of, or not everything is open back up, but it's just dating, and that's something where I want to do more of with my wife. That's something that she enjoys tremendously.
I love it. I love it.
Do you think our wives will say the same thing?
That's a good question. For my wife, I think so. I think she'll say the same thing. My wife is very hallmarky. I call her hallmark. So she'll be like, my husband does everything perfectly.
It's the voice for me.
But if she's being honest and not being, like a Hallmark card, shout out to my beige, my chocolate drop. I think she'll say the same thing. And the only reason why I'm confident is because we've had those discussions. You know what I'm saying? We've had those discussions regarding like the patience. We've had those discussions regarding like her saying like, she wants us to date more, not just being home and not doing anything and having the same old routine.
Right.
So I'm confident she would say the same thing. How about you guys?
I can honestly say, Anthony, since you taking your time, I think she would reply the same way, but she would have a couple of other things as well.
Okay.
Honestly, and then, but she would give a great loving reason behind them too. Like, I'm not gonna go tit for tat on what I should be doing or all these different things, but I think she would have that high on her list in terms of marriage.
Okay.
Yo, real talk, I think for me is make sure I clean up after myself.
Yo, that'll be on my wife's list too.
And
she'd be like, boy,
because our village, we love you. I'm just transparent.
Yeah.
When I pee, wipe the toilet seat. I feel like I do.
No, I do that. I do that.
I feel like I do, but I don't know.
And mine's is more like my wife would be like, I found some crumbs over here. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ. I'm like, I thought I cleaned up everything. Come on.
And I'd be like, yo, I think I'm cleaning, but my wife has a different thought process when it comes to cleaning.
Yo,
I think that's all of us. I
don't know because
that's all
I'm like,
of us.
no,
yeah, we have
because I be washing the dishes like I am a PhD dishwasher right now.
That's it.
Like I know how to wash a dish, but then she comes behind me. She finds these little things. You're like, yo, where you get that from?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And then you can't say nothing. And you can't say nothing. It's like, damn, I effed up. Because I'm like, well, and if you find something, I'm like, damn. And that's why I use the word patience.
Yo, you pick and choose your battles, bro. That's what they gotta learn. Pick and choose your
bro.
battles.
That's it. Me too. That's what I think to myself all the time. I'd be like, listen, hey, I'm not about to start something over some crumbs.
I'm gonna pick it up and walk away.
Listen, my wife is a clean freak. You guys know that. Like Joanna does not play when it comes to clean. She's very OCD with it, so I don't argue with it. Like I'm a clean person as well. We're very good at make sure we clean after ourselves. But if she has to clean behind me, I let it rock because at the end of the day, she's very OCD. She can see a speck of a crumb.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's gonna drive it insane. So I let it be. And first she said that's her therapy. She said that's her therapy. So I'm like, all right, you know what, babe, that's your therapy. Go ahead. I'm gonna play my PS5.
Must be nice.
The PS5 is my therapy.
Must be nice.
But no, it's the thing, man. But
man, you got a PS4, dog. So I mean, come on, son.
No, I love my PS4. That one game I played.
That one game, not the one game. Anthony,
and he got more than one game too. That's the thing about it.
I know.
That's the thing. And Anthony can buy other games, but he won't choose to.
Oh man,
So he's crazy. But I think all in all, man, I feel like I love being a husband, man. I love it. More than
Facts.
anything, it's the
Facts.
best uh the best thing to be,
Yeah.
It
honestly.
is,
And one
man.
day until I can be a father, like
I'm gonna
that's
enjoy every moment.
let me tell you, because it's getting to see my wife just understand things, learn things, and grow each and every day. You know what I'm saying? We both get on each other's nerves, but at times, but it's I wouldn't rather, that's my best friend, man. That's my bestie
Facts.
all day, every day. I wouldn't rather get on nobody else's nerves. And
That's what it's about.
you know, that's my brown sugar right there. Well, light brown sugar.
That's what
Light
it's
brown.
about, man. There's nothing better than knowing that you have somebody you can grow old with, somebody who's your hitter,
Heck
that's
yeah.
your rider, that's your partner. That's what it's about, man. God intended us to not grow alone. You know what I'm saying? That's why he created us to have a covenant with someone, right?
Right.
You need that because one of the things that I see, and then I'll pass it over to Anthony, is that and these are more circumstances of people like a choice, not so much of a circumstance. And what I mean by that is when you see someone who's like 50, 60, 70 years old and they don't have anybody because of a choice, not a circumstance. Circumstance would be like a death. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't control those things, right? Circumstance could be maybe infidelity. You know what I'm saying? That's understandable. But there are people who choose not to be married, and that's their right.
Absolutely.
And I've met a few people where they made that choice that they kind of regret it as they got older because they're in their 50s and 60s, and they're like, man, I feel like I don't have somebody to grow old with, and I am getting older, and I feel lonely. So I say that to say that it is a blessing to be a husband. Second time around, I really thank God for giving me a second chance at this thing called marriage because again, I was married before it didn't work, and it things happen, right? It does happen. You know what I'm saying? Me and my ex-wife, we weren't perfect for each other, but she's a phenomenal mom, and shout out to her. But I'm very grateful to have a second chance, and I'm very grateful that I have somebody that I know that I can grow old with again, and that has my back, and I have hers, and we're gonna rock out with each other, even when we're not perfect at that time, because nobody's perfect, but we're perfect for each other.
Right. No,
And
that's
you call her the hallmark. Okay.
he said, okay.
Okay.
That was my light skin side. Don't
I would say at the end of the day, does marriage make you happy or content? Like, I would say this, like more than anything, I think happiness is a feeling. It's a temporary thing, right? It's fleeting. Uh, I feel like God places a person in your life, right, for a reason, and they are to add to you, and I think joy and happiness is the product that comes out of that.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So,
That's
and I
perfect.
think,
That's well said, bro.
yeah, and I think contentment is another thing, but I think there's a difference between, to all of our village, there's a difference between settling, being comfortable, and being content.
Facts.
Remember that there's a difference between settling, being comfortable, and being content. Like when you're being comfortable, you're just being lazy. You don't care. You're just there, right? And then when you feel like you've settled, it's like the product of that is being unhappy, and that's like I'm not with my person. I'm not with my person, and I chose the wrong person, right? And then being content is not a bad thing, because there can be like, yo, I'm just glad at where I am right now, and I'm good in this pocket. Contentment is not necessarily a bad thing. It's like the Bible stresses, like if I have a little or if I have a lot, I am content because the Lord has blessed me with this little or this lot, right? So, I mean, to everybody, like I want to just encourage you and say, like, whatever you have, whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you're just figuring it out, God loves you, and definitely when that person does come along, it'll all align.
It will.
True.
And you will be at peace.
Straight up. that's the
Even
main thing.
even when the arguments come, you will still be at
Peace.
peace.
Are you gonna be in pieces? No, I'm just
That can happen too. I love how Anthony said peace, man. I think that's out of this whole conversation, that's my favorite word was peace.
Yeah.
It changed your whole because and not to end off in this way, and I'm gonna bring it back, but like when you're not in peace, you're like a damaged soul, like, and I don't want that for anybody. My village, people that are about to listen to this podcast, people that just subscribe to this podcast. Like literally, I do not want you to be the damage. I really want you to be in peace. Like, and that is normal. Being in peace in a marriage is normal.
Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely. It's not boring. It's normal.
Exactly.
A lot of people be like, I need something to happen.
You can have fun and peace, man. We gotta stop normalizing dysfunction and thinking that like dysfunction in marriages and relationships is normal. You know, like what Anthony said, that right there is a sound clip. That peace is normal. And I think we need to promote that more. Not dysfunction, not infidelity, not violence, none of these things, because, unfortunately, that's something that's very common that we see, and we see people championing that. And I'm just totally against it. It should be peace and love, just like what Scripture said. Love is patient, love is kind. You know what I'm saying? Slow to anger. Like it's all those things. There's nothing that it says like, it's dysfunction and it's yelling and it's all these things. Yes, some of these things may happen as far as the yelling part, but it should be peace. Peace should be the foundation of your marriage. So
absolutely.
I'll just leave it like that.
And the last thing I really want to say is just that comparison kills, man. Comparison can kill everything.
100.
You could look on the outside. You could look through the looking glass. The grass is not greener. There's weeds over there.
That's a fact.
Maybe good weed, but that's a different topic.
I was about to say, not the weed that you smoke, but
Jeff ready for that already.
I think it was like, listen, it was 420 yesterday. So.
Yeah, but yo, man, this is a great conversation.
Nah, this is a good conversation.
This is a goodie.
I love it. I love it.
And
you might just see our wives on IG. You never know.
Hey, you never know. They might be in a talk. They might be in a chat.
Stay tuned.
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying. And you know what? The last thing I wanted to bring up was that, like, I was thinking about the movie The Pursuit of Happiness and Chris Garner's struggle. And Will Smith played him so effortless. And I love that. I loved it in a sense of like just seeing a dude struggle, but he had triumph at the end. He ran after his happiness and he got it. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't in a job or any of those things. It was like knowing that I could accomplish this. And my son sees me accomplishing this. You know what I'm saying? And I beat the odds. You know, and like that's what it's about.
It is.
It should.
And pursuit of content, pursuit of happiness.
There we go. This has been an amazing episode, man.
Facts.
Yo,
I can't wait till this come out. I love this conversation.
Yeah, make sure y'all tune in. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all, check out our IG Live. If you haven't already, check out our website. Everything is on there. You know what I'm saying? And we got more coming for this season. Season 3 is, I know we right in the middle of it, but we just getting started. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.
Peace. One love.